Today we're going to talk about wave action and how waves are going to erode and deposit sediment on a beach. Let's first start by looking at this cross-sectional diagram. In this diagram you will see that as water approaches the shore or the beach area, it obviously is going to get shallower and shallower, and that's going to cause the height of our waves to be different. So you can see here that out in the deeper parts of the ocean, waves really aren't that high, but here towards the beach or the coast area, the waves are higher. And I'm sure you've observed that if you've ever been to the ocean. The reason for that is the amount of energy that they have as you get to a shallower area. It's going to cause that wave to get higher and then kind of crash onto the beach. While out here, that energy is still present, but it's more of a circular motion underneath the water where we see that energy moving. So speaking of energy, where do waves get their energy from? That would be from the wind. So we always think about the prevailing winds and how that's going to give those waves their energy. The energy moves from waves as they break along the shore and can do three things. So as soon as our wave crashes down here on the shore, they're going to be breaking up the sand and rock in the surf zone, which is going to be through that process of abrasion, so grinding and scraping of the sediment. They can erode the beach, including sediments and rocks on the beach themselves. And then they can transport sediment from one place to another. Typically, this is parallel to the shore. Now, as waves come onto the shore, they're going to strike the surface at an angle, okay? Now, this causes a slow water current called a longshore current that can carry large amounts of sediments parallel to the shore. So you can see this longshore current here in this diagram and also here in this diagram. So what's going to happen is these waves come in at an angle, and again they're coming in due to the wind and they're getting their energy from the wind, and they're going to come in and then they are going to carry that sediment back out, and as they carry it back out they're going to come back into this sideways moving stuff, so they're going to carry it down again and then back out, down again and back out. So we're getting this longshore current across in that surf zone. So let me show you an animation here that will make this a little bit more clear. Okay, so here's an animation of the longshore drift. We have the wind direction pointing in this way. You can see the waves are coming in at an angle due to that. And then look at these little sediments here. They're being pushed, pulled back, and then now they're displaced over to the side. So the longshore current is moving in this direction, and those sediments are being picked up and moved as that longshore current moves down the coastline. Now, as that sediment is being pulled back out, sometimes it can be pulled back out to an area where there isn't much velocity for that sediment to move anywhere else, and we can get what's known as a sandbar forming. Sandbars are shallow areas or underground ridges that are separated from the shore by deeper water, and they're created by that back and forth motion that you just saw in that animation. I'm sure if you've ever been to the beach before and you've swam out a little bit and you've seen people like standing up in the middle of the ocean, they're standing on the sandbars. So this isn't above water or sea level, but it's underneath and it's that shallower area. Another thing that can happen is what's called a barrier island. Now these are similar to sandbars, except they do go above sea level. Okay, so if you look at this picture here, here's Long Island, and then these are these barrier islands off the coast. Okay, so they're pretty far back, and that's due to that wave movement and how they're pulling the sediment back and forth. But we are going to see these depositional pieces where they actually go above sea level. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about today is the effects of a pier or groin, because sometimes we can have way too much erosion on the coast and we want to preserve the coast. So we can build a pier or a groin. So what we're going to see here in picture A is this is the coastline before or as soon as the pier or groin is put in there. So here it is right there. You can see that the waves are coming in this way, so your longshore current is going in this direction. So we can kind of draw that in here. Your longshore current's going that direction. So you probably want to draw that in your notes and label it longshore current so you know. And over time, you can see that since the longshore current is hitting this, all those sediments that it's carrying get dropped off on this side, and you start to rebuild the coastline. On this side, you'll see that the erosion is still taking place. So what you can do is you can start to build these groins all the way down the coastline, depending upon how bad the coastline actually is. So this is just another picture showing you that here's your groin or your pier, and then if your longshore drift is going this way, you can really create this deposition, and then of course this side will have the erosion. Again, if this erodes too much, you can build a groin here and replace all of that sand and sediment to rebuild your shore. And to end today, here are just some real life pictures of what this can look like. So here's a groin down here. Here's a groin here. You can totally see this is the side view. This side has way more sand and this side has way more erosion. So the current must be going in this direction because this side is the depositional side.